Welcome to Crowe Talks. This is episode 2, where we'll discuss the buggy releases of Arkham Origins and Arkham Knight, how Warner Bros. And Rocksteady could resolve the issue of the PlayStation 4 exclusives for Arkham Knight, and also releasing the Return to Arkham to PC. So first we're going to cover the Arkham Origins and Arkham Knight, and how in fact they were really buggy on release. So first we'll cover Arkham Origins. Now, Arkham Origins had a lot going against it when it was first released. It had a huge reliance on the game previous to it, Arkham City. Not only that, but if you compare Arkham City to Arkham Origins, the map layout, it looks like they tweaked the Arkham City map just slightly, as you can look and see the area that Two-Face occupied during Arkham City, and you compare that to the place where Bane's mercenary group is spread out in Arkham Origins, you can see that basically it's a clone of that particular area. Same thing with the museum area, and the GCPD area is basically just a step back in time, since this is a prequel game. But is that more of a shared assets thing, or is that more of the laziness of Warner Brothers kind of starting there at the beginning of Arkham Origins? However, just talking about Arkham Origins, there were many bugs in this game. They tried to go a little bit bigger. They added a couple more districts and then a bridge. But they tried to go a little bit bigger than Arkham City. But that's not always great. One of the bugs that many players would see would be falling into an endless loop through the world, basically just falling through the map, and basically you're just falling forever and nothing happens. Now the Xbox 360 version suffered from constant freezes and crashes, leaving this also them falling through the map or becoming stuck in the air mid-flight. This was resolved later on by players disconnecting their console from the internet. A patch was released later on that somewhat stabilized the game. However, they weren't able to finish fixing all the bugs that were in Arkham Origins, and so that's what more of a tarnished the game of Arkham Origins, is that the buggy mess that Warner Bros. Left behind, because it's kind of more of a rush production with Arkham Origins. Not only that, but you had several new actors like Roger Craig Smith and Troy Baker coming in, and people were expecting Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, so there's like, our favorite voice actors are not in this, so I'm not really into the game. So it's clouded by all this. We didn't get what we wanted, so we don't like the game, as well as combining that with the buggy mess. But it's very underrated due to the fact that Arkham Origins is an amazing game. They did the storyline very well, especially for a prequel game. That's what made me become a fan of Roger Craig Smith and Troy Baker. Moving on, Troy Baker has done more of his own thing now, and that's good for him to find his own feet, making his own Joker. So now that we move past the Arkham Origins, let's move ahead just a couple more years into Arkham Knight. Now, they were creating the Arkham Knight PC launch, kind of separate from the console release, and this is what led to a lot of bugs and issues. And also, the Batman Arkham Knight was being developed on the PS4 on Unreal Engine 4, while the PC version was being made on Unreal Engine 3. And because of this, there was a ton of bugs, performance issues. You would have lagging, freezing, crashing. There was several people having issues with the game, to where they would have to uninstall the game and re-download the entirety of the game because of an error with the game cache integrity, as well as frame rate dropping above 30 frames per second, low resolution textures in general, screen rendering issues, lag, system memory and VRAM issues, and it was pretty terrible. And then that would cause Arkham Knight to be taken off of the Steam store for a while because of these performance issues. But then they brought out a patch. But that really didn't work very well. There was still a lot of lag, and there was more FPS dropping, and the enhanced graphics, like the PS4 version, it was just a buggy mess compared to the PS4 version of Arkham Knight. The PC version lacked. And I would mention the exclusives on the PS4 just for a second, that this was not included into the Xbox One version or the PC version of Batman Arkham Knight. But with all these performance issues with the Arkham Knight version, people more likely would have to go out and buy a console in order to bypass all these bugs and issues. Now later on they did get the bugs resolved, but that also tarnished a little bit of Arkham Knight's reputation, to the fact because they didn't do a very good job of, they should have put this, developed this alongside the console version, and there wouldn't be any issues. They should have made it on Unreal Engine 4. Now, as most developers know, making a buggy, rushed game, it could be chalked up to a rushed production, such as in the case of Arkham Origins. It was more of a rushed production, and that's why they didn't have time to go back and fix those bugs that occurred. Whereas they were making Arkham Knight, and they were probably trying to move more of their team and resources over to Arkham Knight and focus on that instead, because it took about 3 years to make the game. Now on to the fact of how Warner Brothers and Rocksteady could resolve the issue with the exclusives, and as well as Return to Arkham. That was covered in the first episode, but I'm going to just expand upon it a little bit. I talked about in the first episode how they could make this additional DLC for the original Arkham Knight on PC and Xbox, and keep their word in the advertisement that said exclusive content until fall of 2015. They could say, oh, we did a bad one there, a bad move. We can resolve this. We can do exactly what we did with the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh and the anime Batman, and release this as a free DLC to say thank you for buying the game. Or Seasons Pass holders, we're finally going to give you the exclusives that we promised you back in 2015. Because you bought the Seasons Pass, you bought the game, you deserve all the in-game content. No matter what console version we have it on, no matter that this is a Sony PlayStation exclusive, we're going to give it to you because you made the purchase of buying the game. You got the Seasons Pass. There you go. You get all the DLC that was made for the game. You get all the content. Now, with the Return to Arkham, they could do the same thing. Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, those are amazing games. But the PC people have not been able to touch Return to Arkham due to the fact that it was released only on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So we're kind of stuck in the dust while everybody else gets to enjoy the remastered version, which, if you compare the graphics of both of them to the original, it's not really that much difference. But there have been patches and mods by the community for Arkham that makes it as close to the Return to Arkham as possible. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is there is a rumor going around on Reddit and other sites that they're going to remaster Arkham Origins because they realized people didn't quite take the Gotham Knights gameplay very well. It's just got a downvote, a lot of negative feedback from this. So they're going to focus instead on the Suicide Squad game from Rocksteady, which is contained within the Arkhamverse as well, and be considered another Batman game, but not really a Batman game. And the rumor is that they're going to remaster Arkham Origins, bring it up to next gen, so you can play on the next gen versions. Probably going to be on console and PC. Now, this is just a rumor; it's not quite verified or verified at all. Again, it's just a Reddit post that was found. And there has been a leak from the NVIDIA GeForce Now that they're going to remaster Arkham Knight for the RTX, and they were going to call it an RTX remaster. Now, Warner Brothers and Rocksteady, if you're listening, this would be a good time to release additional DLC for your Arkham Knight, as well as Arkham Origins. Within the Arkham Origins, rumors said there's going to be new skins and new challenge maps, as well as a photo mode. So this would be the perfect time for you guys to step in and say, hey, we fouled up about 7 years ago. We're going to make it up to you. We're going to give you these exclusives we promised you 7 years ago, as well as new DLC for you to buy. You could add in the Batman Batsuit, the Batman Batmobile, as well as, and here's where I think you guys can make a lot of money, the Elseworld stories would make you a ton of money. Do some Elseworld skins, like, for example, the Elseworld's Finest story, or Batman the Nail, or Batman Hollywood Night, or Batman in Darkest Night. Some of these stories you have in your Elseworld stories, that would be an amazing move for you to do. One that I'd suggest would be the Batman Kingdom Come Batsuit, or an Alex Ross Batsuit. Justice was an amazing storyline, but that's what's contained within the Elseworld storyline. That would be amazing. Now you can also add additional DLC to the Return to Arkham collection. You could provide alternate Batsuits in Arkham City, like the animated series version you have. You could do a swap of that and do the redesign from Season 4. You could do the redesign as well, and bring in Batgirl and do a animated series theme for Arkham Knight. Bring in a whole animated series pack for Batman to celebrate the awesomeness of Batman the Animated Series, as well as Batman Beyond. Now that would be definitely worth it if you would bring in the animated Batman Beyond. Now, I'm not saying that the Batman Beyond from Arkham City, the skin for it is not good. It is an amazing suit from Arkham City, but the Arkham Knight one is kind of It could be that much better. Compile a ton of skins into the Arkham Knight version. Make it like the definitive Batman game. That would be awesome. Another thing you could add to Arkham Knight would be the flying Batmobile from Batman Beyond. Think of how amazing. You've already got the Batman Beyond suit. Why would you not bring in the Batman Beyond Batmobile? That would also be amazing. Or if you wanted to make another Batman game set in the future, like your canceled Batman Beyond idea, do Terry McGinnis. Bring back in Kevin Conroy. Bring back in Will Friedle. Bring back the people that made it awesome. And no doubt a Batman Beyond game set in the Arkhamverse, as it's right now set up at a good point right now, where Batman just completely disappears in Arkham Knight and possibly faked his death. This could really wrap up the Arkham games in a very good way, in a neat little bow, as well as paying homage to Batman Beyond, a cult classic. Well, I want to thank you for listening to this second episode of Crowe Talks. Stay tuned for episode 3. If you liked what you heard, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. There will be more coming out soon.